Oh, here's one bug actually. So we set 15,000. Of course, the second I start explaining that, this comes up anyways. So we're set to 15,000 feet, right? But we're not really climbing, and the reason for that is that there's a bug in FSX. Use mouse wheel down and mouse wheel up on the vertical speed to refresh the memory, quote unquote, of the autopilot. And as you can see now, it remembers that it's actually supposed to go up. So 10 o'clock. I see them. Alright. Another thing we can already do is we can actually pre-program our ILS frequency into our nav radius. So 109er decimal 5, 109er decimal 5. Swap that in. And then turning left heading 180. And once we're facing perfectly south at 180, we can actually turn on this nav switch and it'll fly us in GPS mode to our destination. We're about 180 right now, so I'm just gonna hit nav. And now we're doing our own navigation.
Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo, contact outward approach at 118.905. 118.905 for Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo.
Another hand up there, and now we're actually just going to tune to Gatwick approach and contact the guys over there.
Gatwick approach, Bombardier November 45 Lima Romeo is at 8,100, climbing 15,000. Bombardier November 45 Lima Romeo, Gatwick approach, roger, altimeter 2, 2.
You can click the cell button, the select button here twice, and it will actually show you how long you've been in the air for. So we're currently on 5 minutes, and I'm gonna leave that on this mode. So if you are flying the same route with me and you're having some issue with something, you can kind of use that to cross-check what goes on in your situation. And now we're talking to Lawn and Center.
Going to 118.475, Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo.
Top of the evening to you, lads. That's my British accent.
Bombardier November 45 Lima Romeo is at 9,600, climbing 15,000. Bombardier November 45 Lima Romeo, London Center.
And that's that.
Altimeter 2992.
Now that we have exceeded 10,000 feet of altitude, we can actually accelerate to a higher speed. FAA regulations say under 10,000 feet you want to be below 250. So let's go to about 260 now, which I think is a pretty decent cruise altitude in this aircraft. And as soon as we will hit 15,000 feet of altitude over sea level, I assume the ATC is going to come in, and as soon as we're leveling off at that altitude, and they're going to tell us to basically climb to anywhere higher than that, usually about flight level 210. So that'll happen in a couple of seconds here. And come on. Yep. There we go. Flight level 210, as expected. And we'll also be starting to make a turn to the right here pretty soon. And the turn to the right is due to the GPS navigation on the flight plan. Again, same bug. We're stuck on 700 vertical speed, 700 feet per minute. And so mouse wheel down, mouse wheel up, for example. Just reset that vertical speed hold selector because it keeps forgetting the setting, and it's really frustrating. So as you can see now, the autopilot is actually bringing us up to flight level 210. You can also tell that we are having some issues with the auto throttle to actually reach the speed of 260. We're about 5 knots underneath that, and that's because we're climbing at 1800 feet a minute, so we don't have the power to get there, even though we are at, well, 61% of throttle. So if you were manually controlling, you could of course push this, but there's no reason to. And as soon as we level off at whatever altitude we're going to fly, this thing is obviously going to be in a much better state. Now, there's the turn to the right that I predicted over the coast of England, the south coast. And also, we have a caution, and that's our fuel quantities in the left and right tank are low, and that's all right. That's actually on purpose. We'll have more than enough fuel to make it to Le Havre. Otherwise, this will be one big fail of a video. And we've been in the air for 10 minutes now.
Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo, short 66 miles short, turn left.
All right.
155, descend and maintain 13,000. Expect vector ILS, runway 23.
155. 13,000, so the top of altitude we reached was flight level 210.
Turn left, heading 155, descend and maintain 13,000. Expect vector
13,000.
Runway 23, approach. Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo. Turn right, heading 330.
I like this maneuver.
949er.
Kind of turn and then dropping the nose. It's almost like in a fighter plane, I guess, except a little bit less drastic, maybe. Still, I kind of like this. Oh, look, the moon. I haven't seen this before. That's kind of nice.
Havre, uniform kilo November. Contact service center on 119.825.
I'm also going to reduce the speed here to 240.
Fort Havre, uniform kilo November. Shore diner, Fort Diner. Contact shore approach on 123.15.
Because we're getting close to the ceiling of 10,000 feet, and no doubt as soon as we're gonna level off at 13,000, we are actually going to be cleared to descend further. Turn right heading 185.
Turn right heading 185. Bombardier 5 Lima Romeo.
There we go. Another nice maneuver. Again, I have a thing for these kinds of rolls for some reason. I don't know what it is, but even in a real aircraft, and I've been flying as a passenger quite a bit, especially when I was younger, and I always liked this, sitting on the side that faces the earth, basically being able to look down like that. I always enjoyed that for some reason.